6:15. We do not have a chair or a vice chair today. So our first order of business is going to be this group nominating and then electing a chair just for this meeting.
I nominate Mr. Ortman.
That guy.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Ortman.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor of Dennis running the meeting?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Do we have any citizen comments today? A new business. The new business is to consider a certificate of appropriateness in the West End Historic District. Application by Michelle Rademacher of Clever Fox Architecture on behalf of Dan Yolmader for the new exterior door, exterior window, and an exterior awning at 816 Main Street. And we've dealt with that building a little bit in the last round here, so we're somewhat familiar with it. Okay, do we need to?
So on your application, so you have seen this building for a couple other pieces recently. And so this piece came in, but unfortunately it was too late to go in the last meeting, so I had to renotice for it. So this is going to be removing one of the vinyl windows that exists and installing two single hung vinyl cream color windows that have an up-down kind of motion so that they can be used as walk-up doors for an ice cream shop. So you can see in the packet was included a schematic of the building. So the diagonal is where those front doors are, and so you can see the one window, so the second window is over here, and then where that little salon is before you take the stairs to go to the upstairs apartments. The ice cream shop, we'll call it, is going to be in between the first window of the building and that salon that's in that secondary entrance.
So approximately how long is that? I was trying to.
Hold on.
Do you know how long that is?
The total span from the corner that has like the pillar holding it up is 27 feet and 6 inches.
So the awning is gonna go over the whole thing?
No, so the awning's just gonna go over this small,
Just the small
the
window.
one window, yes. I don't believe they give a dimension on the awning. Hang on, let me just double check. I do not see a dimension on the awning. But it's indicated to just go over the one window. You can see here's the side profile with the door, window, and then the two with the awnings. And then you can see the door that goes into the salon space. And then also included in this request, is those windows, so doing the double windows, the awning, the fabric awning that'll go over those windows, and then replacing the door that's on that corner. The main entrance door is currently a double aluminum door, and they would like to replace it with a single door with transom. That would be in a dark bronze color.
That would match the other buildings down that we've approved on that street.
Yes, it would go more with the, that darker metal, the bronzy-ish kind of color that we've seen a majority of the buildings that have come through in the last couple of years are transitioning to. So that is what is in front of you today. And then Mr. Mader's son is here, if you guys have any questions regarding
Thank you for coming
any of it.
on time.
The awning's gonna be at least 58 inches wide, because that's how wide the window is.
How wide again?
At least 58 inches. It'll.
Just short of 5 feet.
Okay. Are there other questions for Mr. Mader?
And is it gonna be like the candy stripe situation that's shown, or is it gonna be a solid color?
I probably have stock color like that for the start.
Okay.
Probably black, some like a dark color. I don't think it's not gonna be super bright color.
Probably something that matches the rest of the exterior or your signage.
Yeah, eventually we're gonna paint the whole, or after it gets approved, get the whole exterior, like the tile is gonna be a darker color, so it'll match what that's gonna be, I think.
Okay. Lisa, do you have questions?
No, I don't think so. I'm just listening. Thank you.
Any further questions from all of you? Michelle just came in. We need to ask questions. Michelle? Okay. Is there a motion so that we can proceed?
Oh, we don't need a motion, you need to walk them through the review sheet.
The review sheet, then the motion.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, please.
review sheet. I'm doing really well. On page 1, section A, brick, stone, and concrete. Buildings with brick exterior walls may be structural, load-bearing, brick, or simply a brick veneer covering another structural material. Does this section apply in any way?
I don't believe so.
Not applicable. Moving to section B, metals. Metals were often used in historical buildings, particularly for ornamental elements such as columns and cornices and utilitarian features such as a door and window hardware. We'll run through this because we do have a metal discussion, I believe.
Yep, there is a.
So in
there
number
replacement.
1, preservation of character-defining historical metal features. Not preserving the aluminum, we're actually changing it, right?
Yeah, and I don't know that,
It does not apply, right?
Yeah.
Maintaining historical protective coatings on metal features. What do you think? Not really. Repair of historical metal features if needed by patching and splicing with compatible metal. No. Cleaning if needed with the gentlest methods possible. Not applicable. Providing proper drainage to prevent damage to historical metal elements. We are no in all of those.
fantastic, next section.
Okay, moving on to historical wooden elements include doors, window sashes, and sometimes ornament or siding. I believe that applies to what we're doing. Moving then to section D, design guidelines for historic building elements. Preservation of character-defining historical features of the storefront and main facade, including display windows, bulkheads, entryways, doors, transom lights, upper story windows, cornices, and parapets.
I don't believe we're discussing any of those
Preserving
items.
If a storefront has been altered, restoration to the original design is no longer evident and historical photographs are not available, a simplified interpretation of similar period for storefronts is often acceptable. Removal of incompatible modern materials covering historical elements may be appropriate, not applicable, right? If the altered storefront has acquired historic significance in its own right, preserving the altered storefront may be the most appropriate course of action.
Yeah, I guess that's for you guys to decide if,
It's a little more modern than,
I mean, it's kind of like, it's not really the storefront, it's,
the doors.
it's, yeah, I mean, so the door, yes, you're changing it from a double door, which I imagine was probably not historically how it was in the past. They're looking to move it to something that looks more similar to things that,
everything else.
yep, things that we've seen go on in the other buildings along the same street frontage. And then the windows, you know, are a modern window currently with the white vinyl and the striping. We are looking to kind of move away for that, maybe not go back to what I would consider a historical window, but they are looking to change it so that it
Matches other things.
matches other things and can be, you know, they're reinventing part of their building.
So.
So I guess the group would need to decide, has this building acquired a historic significance as it is? And is there any thought about it being preserved or not preserved or whatever?
Well, it's one of the more modern elements in that part of town, and this is not going to destroy that by any means.
No.
So we might might say that it's applicable.
I think it's a yes.
A yes.
Okay.
We have yes nods. Lisa, does yes work for you?
Fantastic, we will go with
Preservation of historical storefronts on secondary building facades. We don't have a secondary building facade, so
yes.
not
Not this
applicable.
particular.
Moving to windows, this section addresses windows other than display windows generally situated on upper levels of a commercial building. Most historical windows of the 1800s to the 1960s period are wood sash, although some later windows during this period are metal sash.
So we're not talking about the upper windows, just a lower window that, as I mentioned before, was previously replaced with a vinyl window.
Okay, so preserving the functional and decorative features of historical windows, including sash, glazing, sills, moldings, hardware, and trim. Features too deteriorated to repair can be replaced in kind with the same size, type, and material. Not applicable, we say. Preservation of historical window openings, particularly on highly visible primary facades. What's our call on that one?
They're preserving the opening, they're just changing it to 2 windows rather than 1.
Yeah, on the other hand, we don't know if it's a historical window.
Right? Like,
It kind of goes back to
right,
the
I don't
other
know if that
question
was
we
so-
had.
Is that a no, because of what we don't know?
Or does it not apply because of what we don't know?
Yeah, I think number 3 is probably closer.
I think so.
To not apply,
I don't think that it applies to you.
yeah, I don't,
That one I could dance around a little
Yeah.
bit, but number 3, for example, is far more clear, right,
Yes.
for what we're doing.
Yeah, because it specifically talks about
So
new
it
windows.
specifically talks about this situation.
So are we saying that number 2 does apply or does not apply?
Does not. Number 3, if replacement of historical windows is necessary, use of new windows that are use of new windows that retain the appearance of the originals, particularly on highly visible primary facades, is desirable. Matching the sash profile and materials is recommended. At a minimum, replacement windows should match the number and position of glass panes and be composed of materials that appear similar to the originals. There's a change in the window slightly, but it doesn't,
The sash profile is the same.
Mhm.
yes, sash profile is the same.
well, we already said that they're not really replacing historical windows per se, so this says if replacing historical windows is necessary. So I would say it doesn't apply.
Doesn't apply. Use of storm windows, particularly on building interior to enhance energy efficiency while preserving original historical windows. If the storm window is installed on the building exterior, matching the sash design and color of the original window is recommended. So did we end up with all knots on this one?
Yes.
So how do we deal with the window? Because the window is perfectly good to put in, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you just said that it doesn't apply because it's not a historical window that's being
It doesn't
replaced,
keep
right?
it from moving forward.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, like you guys have said that, number 3 under D applied, and that was a yes.
I think we're okay.
I think we're okay.
Section F on doors then. This section addresses exterior doors generally situated on the ground level of a commercial building. Most historical doors of the 1880s to 1960s period are wood or wood and glass, although some later doors during the period are metal or metal and glass. So number 1, preserving the functional and decorative features of historic doors, particularly the main entrance. Important historical door features include the door, side lights, transom lights, hardware, and decorative detailing. Features too deteriorated to repair can be replaced in kind with the same size, type, and material.
So I don't know that this is a historical door. I think the replacement of the aluminum door to a door of a darker, metal is probably moving us closer to what it might have looked like.
Yep.
I don't know that I actually have any historical photos of this building and the corner opening.
But I was just thinking it would have been, yeah, because I mean, the whole front of it may be totally what it
And
looked like
dark wood,
originally.
or whatever.
Well, even the angles may not have been there.
And I don't know
I
that I
don't think
have.
angles were there, yeah. So not applicable,
Yeah.
what you're saying,
I used to
thinking?
work there years ago.
I mean, it's not a historic door,
Not a historic door, so we
so
can
I don't
move
know
on.
that.
Preservation of historical doorway openings, particularly on highly visible primary facades.
They are maintaining the same opening, they're not creating a new opening.
And it's highly visible, so
I would say you need
Yes.
to decide that yes, it applies, and do you
how
think
about the rest of you? Does yes work for you?
That's good, looks for me.
Okay. Number 3, if replacement of historical doors is necessary, use of new doors that retain the appearance of the original materials and design, particularly on highly visible facades, is desirable. Replacement with a very ornate door is discouraged unless supported by historical photographic evidence. Not applicable?
I think that it is a highly visible facade. I think they're replacing it with a similar type of door, except a single door, which I would imagine is probably going to
That's
increase
fine.
their energy efficiency. You know, water and stuff like that, getting in is hard to maintain a seal when you have a double door like that. So going to the door with the transom light hopefully will be an improvement for their
Efficiency.
egress, but not a replacement of a historical door, so.
So that's a no. Moving on to section G, roofs then, or roofs, whichever part of the country you're from. This section addresses commercial building roofs of the 1880s and to 1960s period, most of which are flat with flat or shaped parapets. Not talking about the roof. Awnings and canopies. Cloth and sometimes metal awnings and canopies were common during the 1880s through the 1960s period. Many awnings could be rolled, raised, or lowered, and they often sheltered the entry or entire walkway in front of the building, while canopies were generally of rigid construction. Number 1, maintaining and repairing existing historical canopies or awnings, or replacement with canopies or awnings that retain the appearance of the originals, replacement of missing historical canopies or awnings with historical compatible awnings. Well, this is an odd one because almost every building downtown had an awning. So I think this is yes,
So I guess this could be a decision for the commission if you feel like the addition of the awning, since we're not sure if how this building may or may not have had one way back when. Feel like it's appropriate or not?
I think I've seen pictures that almost every building downtown
Yeah, I was gonna say
had
most
canopies.
buildings had one at one point or the other.
So that's a yes. Moving on to section I, chimneys does not apply. J, balconies does not apply. Letter K, design guidelines for additions to historical buildings. Pardon? Not an addition. So that one does not apply. Moving one more round through here. To the next page. Section L, design guidelines for parking facilities, lighting, signs, streetscapes. That's really streetscape.
We went through a lot of those when we talked about the park that, but
Right. So that moves us to section M.
no, none of those.
Nothing, construction of the historically listed, new construction, not. Okay. So,
I move that we approve, the changes to the, 610, is it? 816, Main Street.
is there a second?
I'll second.
And Dorinda You made the motion, seconded by Leah. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Okay. I don't think there is any old business.
Lisa, was that aye? Was that an opposed or?
Yes.
Okay,
Aye. I'm in favor of it.
you're in favor of it.
Sorry, I think I'm in favor of it. I think there's a delay with the Zoom, so
Yeah,
yes, I'm
there
in
is a
favor of it.
delay, so I wanted to make sure that we
Yeah.
knew what was happening there.
Okay, any commissioner comments?
No commissioner comments, we have no old business, staff comments,
I don't have any comments.
other than inviting everybody to move across the street.
Yep, at 4 o'clock today, Gary is doing, his talk over at the library, so if you're able to come, please do so. That's kinda it, otherwise I think you could entertain a motion to adjourn.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So
Thank you,
moved.
Mr. Mayor. So moved? Second? You wanna get the second today? You get the second. Okay. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed?